All right, Joe Nance, welcome to the Passion Project.
Thank you.
Good, so good to have you here.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, this is super sick.
Super sick. Well, we were just talking offline because you live about 100 yards from here.
Yeah, I'm a mortar shot away.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I got to go to the bathroom. I'm going home.
Yeah.
No, super cool. And I didn't know that. It was funny. We met earlier and I'm like, hey, well, I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. I want to learn all while we're recording. And we will, but we started to connect some of the dots already.
Yeah.
Joe, the reason that you're here, we met during the Ben Carlson paddle this summer. A lot of people in here have come from that, but it's one of those, I would say it's the example of like, you don't know who's in the room. Mm-hmm. Like you never know who you're paddling next to or sitting next to on a bus or whatever. And so what we're going to be talking about today, I didn't know about you during the summer. And as I always say, like we had 120 people do the paddle this year, and I tend to talk to people that are more on the back, and you weren't one of them. So, but the reason that you're here, and I'm so stoked, one, I love to have young guns doing really cool things in here, and so we get to share the story of what you're doing. Because you're a lifeguard, you are a AI platform developer, and that's really going to be the crux of what we're going to talk about. KrakenX.ai.
KrakenX.
Kraken, yeah, thanks
like
for pronouncing that right.
Octopus.
Like on your...
Yeah.
I was telling you earlier when I asked you, how old are you for say?
19. Just turned 19 3 days ago.
Just turned 19. I couldn't make a sandwich when I was 19. So building an AI platform, being a lifeguard, being a prone paddler, like being a surfer, being all these things. You just graduated high school this last year, right?
Yep.
Pretty impressive. And I love to showcase people doing really good things. And again, everybody knows I love the whole first responder world, lifeguards and everything. And so what you're doing there, that's what your AI platform does. So we will dig all into that. And the story, the genesis story of it is pretty neat. So I'm really excited to dig.
Yeah.
But let's real quick, I think it'll set the tone for today. Let's talk about where I met you, which was prone paddling.
Yeah.
So talk a bit about that. And I'd love to talk a bit about your experience with the bend. So how did you get into prone paddling?
Well, the bend, that was great. So Hugh Lewis, you know Hugh? You might know Hugh. He's one of the older, I think he's 60 maybe, and he's been doing it for a little, maybe the past 4 or 5 years, and I'm friends with his son. And it's also just, lifeguarding. I lifeguard in Laguna, and I have since right when I turned 16 was when I started working. Yeah. And everybody there talks about it and whatever. And so my first year I was we were 3 months away or whatever, and I was like, I think I got that. I think I could do this. And I just turned 16, and then I wanted to get my friends to do it, but no one they were like, oh, we're not ready, whatever. So it was just me and Hugh, which is my friend's dad, and we trained together and whatever, and then went over and did it, and it's just the best.
So how many times have you done the bend?
I've done it twice. I skipped this past year, so I did the first year. The first year was kind of atrocious. I had this thing where I can't pee when I'm prone paddleboarding. It's unbelievable.
Some people have that for sure.
I know. I didn't know that other people had that until this last year, but it was actually so bad, and I just didn't sleep at all. So it was I would I'd sprint to the front, and then I'd try because I think it's the position. I'm like this, and it
compressing
hurts. Something hurts or whatever. So I'd sprint to the front, and then I'd sit on the board. It just wouldn't happen, and so it was literally. It was mile 28 that I was able to freaking pee, and it was oh,
that's a long day.
It was so painful. It was it was unbelievable.
So you had the fitness,
and
you felt great, but you just couldn't pee.
Yeah, I would sprint to the front, and then so I would go right to the front, and then I'd wait till I was in the very back, and then I'd try, and I'd just sit there, and then I'd sprint back up to the front. And it was an on and off, it was a nightmare, but whatever.
Well, we're straight into the meat of this one here. I couldn't pee. We're going to call this podcast the I couldn't pee podcast.
I couldn't pee, yeah.
But I think endurance athletics shine a lot of lights on things like that. Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people that cannot pee when they paddle. It's people that run and certain things, there's just certain things at certain bodies, and you learn how to navigate around it. Yeah. Year 2, did you figure anything out? Did it get any better?
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but I just kind of it wasn't easy, but you
were able to get it done.
Yeah, I was able to, but I was ready. It was actually so bad. I was ready to. I bought a catheter.
No way.
And I was like, if I need to, I'm gonna. Freaking probe myself halfway through. God. I was ready. I was so ready for that. Yeah.
Okay.
And mentally, I was there. I was I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna probe myself with this tube.
That I've never heard anybody say.
What else? I mean,
I don't know.
You gotta.
Yeah. Even if you get off the board and swim, it's you can't.
Yeah, but it's just like not enough time at that point.
Wow.
It's like, so my plan was to get off the board and have this freaking
catheter yourself while you're in salt water.
Yeah, that was the goal, God. And it was gonna be. And I was literally like there, and I was like holding it, and I was like, oh God, and I was like, this is terrible. And then I was like able to like channel and focus, and then I'm
glad you didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
that would have been gnarly.
Dramatic.
Can you imagine paddling with a catheter in?
Yeah. Well, no, it would have been I would have just done it, geez. And then I would have. Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot of commentary on this dialogue for sure. Oh my gosh. Okay. On the lighter side of it.
Yeah.
You're 16 and 17 when you do it. Mm-hmm. How was it crossing that channel? Like when you're done and you could finally pee and you're feeling better, but you got it done. Like what kind of impact did that have on you?
Amazing, of course. Yeah. It's like, it's so like gnarly to be like, 16, 17 years old and I've done that. Yeah. No, it's the best. Especially
growing up here and you look at that island. So, so the Bend, just for clarity, I've talked a lot about it on this podcast, but it's a 30-mile prone paddle from Avalon to Newport Pier. We do it with, probably 100 people that year, those 2 years. You never know what the conditions are going to be. Because last year when you did it, it was cold, first half, really cold, right?
The first year was rougher for sure.
Yeah.
The 8.0. That was the first one I did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, my first crossing, I was 26. So I always look at the young guns like you that are doing it young.
Yeah.
It's got to be, in my opinion, something as a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, you go, what can't you do after you do that?
Yeah, no,
at that
totally.
Age, right?
Yeah. No, it definitely sets the tone. I think like lifeguarding set the tone for me way more. Like that was just like another thing that stacked up on top of that. But like starting lifeguarding at 16 years old, like that is like, it is a superpower. It's like crazy. The things you get to do and like, cause it's 40 hours a week of like just doing cool stuff and talking to people. And you just get like, it like leapfrogs you, I feel like. Yeah.
I have no doubt. We've had Drosko Bogdanovich in here with the Lifeguard Project and everybody from the Ben Carlson Foundation and, from John Hoover from BRAG. Like we've talked a lot about this and the impact and that leapfrogging. I think you nailed it. Like at 16 years old to get all that training and to build all that confidence and have all that responsibility and the things that you see and the things that you do. And then you go channel cross as well. Like I would think at 19, fresh 19, you have the maturity or the experience of people much, much older than you.
Yeah, for sure. People always think I'm like older now. I think that's a big part of it. It's like, because I don't look like especially old, but everyone,
because you're not.
Because I'm not 19. But people seem to think though, like people are always like, oh my God, what? Like you're 19. It's always that thing. I think lifeguarding's been a huge part of that because it's just also it's like the like mentors you have through it. It's like my supervisors, like especially when I started, they're like gods to me. They're so cool. Like I'm gonna give a shout out to Tommy Cantrell. He's like a Laguna legend, and everyone I know, Tommy, if you didn't know this, like he's like just this god to everyone because he whatever like rescue's happening somehow he like flies out of nowhere and he's got his like fins up and he just like sweeps the rescue like no problem. So they become these like total mentors, and that also kind of I feel like accelerates that growth.
That's so great. I love that. And I was a YEP. So Newport used to have it's called the Youth Employment Program, which was like something between like a mentor, it was between junior guards and guarding. Mm-hmm. And so you're actually paid, it's a summer full training.
Yeah.
And I remember the guys that were instructing me as being same thing, total legends, icons. I can remember them super clear, tons of impact on me. What a great experience.
Wait, did you ever lifeguard?
I did just for 1 year.
Okay.
And
Newport?
Yeah.
Nice.
So how did you end up? So let me back up. Junior guarding. Did you go through the junior guard program for here?
I did. Yeah, I didn't
for years.
I didn't love it though. When I was, because like I don't know, I'm asthmatic, and that was kind of like I just for some reason I did not like junior guards. And I did not like. I don't know. That's not a common experience. Like a lot of people are. Oh, it's the greatest thing ever. Whatever. For some reason, I did it like when I was like 9, 10, 11, 12. I think that kind of age range. And I was like, I don't want to be a lifeguard. Like this is not my thing. Whatever. And then but all my friends were like, oh, I'm totally gonna be a lifeguard. Like I'm gonna do it. Whatever. And then out of like my little group, I was the only one that actually ended up wanting to, and then ended up loving it. But I don't know really exactly what flipped for me, but I was always like pretty nervous around like when I'd surf with friends or whatever. They would always charge it way more than me, like as a younger kid. And then I kind of just had this hurdle where I was like, I'm gonna do this. Like I don't know, it's just some mental thing. And then once I got past that, I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing ever. And then I got really into it.
Rad.
Yeah.
And you became a guard in Laguna at 16.
Yeah.
Why did you pick Laguna?
I picked Laguna literally just because the tryout was earlier, and I wrestled in high school, and I had no like water polo, nothing like that. So it was like close to make the tryout. So I figured maybe I'll do the Laguna one first because it's earlier in the year. And then if I don't make that, I have a little bit of time before the Newport one. It was the Laguna one was in like December, the Newport was in January or whatever. And then, but my plan was Laguna would be the backup once I made Newport. And then when I was there though, I met another guy who's like a legend, Dane Doran. He's like so cool to me. And I was like talking to him, and it's like so beautiful in Laguna. And I was like, no, this is the spot. Cause right after I made it, I was like, okay, no, this is my spot. Rad. This is it.
Well, there's a lot. We've had quite a few Laguna guards do the Bend with us, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, good crew.
That's killer.
Yeah. Well,
good. It's fun. It's interesting to hear that story. You know, my oldest son Gianni, who's 5 years older than you, he did junior guards 1 year. He's a great waterman, loves to surf, charges, hated junior guards.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, there we
go. And it didn't exist when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And my other kids haven't been into it. So, but it's just, you weren't alone. And some of his buddies are all great watermen. It was a cold summer water.
Yeah.
And I think that just totally turned them off. They're like, I don't want to be in the water all day long. It's freezing cold and all this and that. So, but interesting. So, but I love the fact that you overcame it and like flipped that switch, as you said, and became it. And then I love, like, I always talk about coaches in here. I always say coaches or teachers or mentors, like you remember your best teacher, coach, whatever, and your worst. Everybody in the middle is kind of vanilla. Yeah. But it sounds like, you know, these guys that you named made a real impact on you and still do,
Huge
right?
Impact, yeah.
Ah, that's so great.
It's massive.
I love that. It really, that's life.
Yeah.
And I think people should always be looking for mentors or if you find, maybe not looking, but if you find someone that has that influence on you, like keep them in your circle, you know, because they really do have a huge impact.
Yeah.
Rad.
That's the best.
I mean, and you know, whether you're Newport, Laguna, State, whatever,
it's all
as long as you're doing it.
It's all the same.
And what's funny is when I saw you drive up, tell me what you were driving today.
Oh yeah, a red Toyota Tacoma
with racks.
With a rack, yeah. No.
Looks like an off-duty
did not
lifeguard.
intend for that, but it's pretty sick though to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you fit the part. And then tell the real quickly, like I always think, you know, first responders, the switch is never off. You might not be in uniform, but you're always thinking about it. So tell the quick story that you told me about yesterday.
Oh yeah, just last night. This was because we were talking about my truck and how everyone has to like double take to see if it's like a decommissioned lifeguard truck or whatever. It's just the same color with roof racks. But last night I did a swim because I have my recert coming up, which is, you know, you have to just kind of do like the lifeguard tryout again. And so I was getting back into swimming, and I was with my buddy who is a guard in Newport, and we went down, and as we were coming up, there was this girl that was just completely like lifeless on the beach,
just hammered.
And I was like, oh god. And then finally, and then a guy came over, and it was his girlfriend. Whatever. There's a lot of stuff. But long story short, she was like full medical emergency. Like it wasn't just like she was drunk. It was like she was completely just like dead, like lifeless. And then ended up just like trying to convince him like, no, this is not normal. Like this is bad. And because that's also just a part of lifeguarding, is like talking to people and trying to like, you know, just like if you know like what's better, like kind of convey it to them without like, you know, causing too much problems. And ended up convincing them to like get in the back of the truck and at least drive them to their car, because he was slinging her over his shoulder and she's upside down and you know, it's a huge choking thing. It's just a whole mess. But so I loaded him up in the back of the truck, and I'm like driving along at river jetties, and everyone is just like, oh, like cool. Like they think I'm like, you know, like working.
That you're on duty.
That I'm on duty. Yeah. But it was just, you know, it just looks exactly the same. But yeah, so.
You're always on.
Always on.
But that's, again, I've learned that over the years that people that are first responders are always on. Whether you're off or you're on, you're always on.
That's the most fun rescues are like outside of working. That's the coolest. It's like if you're on vacation or whatever, that's such a bonus. I don't know. For some reason, it feels cooler.
Yeah. Well, and the world relies on it. If you watch surf in Hawaii, like rescues are always made like in pipeline and stuff. It's a combination of surfers, lifeguards. It's a full like team sport, right?
Sure.
And I've told the story a bunch, but I do a lot with Hawaii Lifeguard Association on Kauai. We just support them, and they're wonderful and good friends. And so they've given me a lot of swag. And I'm like, you guys, I can't wear a Kauai Lifeguard shirt. And they go,
yes, you can.
Have you made a rescue in your life? I'm like, of course. Yeah. Would you make one right now? Sure, of course. Then wear the shirt.
All
okay.
Right, yeah.
You know, but it's true. Like it is a full team sport. And that's why junior guard, you know, a big percentage of those people never go on to become lifeguards, but that skill and the ability always translates to when they're out surfing or on the beach or in a restaurant, somebody chokes or whatever, right?
Yeah, it's the best.
It's super important. That's community. I mean, I think that's one of the big byproducts and benefits of programs like the junior guard program at all of and we have the world-class programs between Huntington, Laguna, Newport. I mean, it's really incredible what kids, like, again, you're little and you're giving these kids this ability, confidence in the water, ability to make a difference in helping someone. And then years later when you're driving an off-duty looking truck and you can make a rescue after a swim. No, never off.
That's great.
Well, listen, and I always say thank you for your service. To be 19 and have been a lifeguard for the last few years and to be able to, like, it's just, that's what we need. Like, we all need it. So super rad. Well, listen, let's talk about lifeguarding a little bit. So over and above the ability to help and the desire to help, and the influence these mentors have made on you and the responsibility, I'm assuming, and you've talked about communicating and talking to people. What do you, if there's more, or like, what's the impact or influence, if there's anything else, on spending time focused on people and doing things like you did off duty? Like what impact has that had on your life?
On my life, I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I think one big thing that I've found a commonality with other lifeguards is just that time, because, you know, most of the time you're not like actively rescuing. Most of the time you're just, you know, sitting in the tower waiting for something to happen, or you're kind of like doing little things like preventing people and you know, walking the beaches and doing like little things that are sort of just like tasks. And all that time spent like in that kind of half focus mode where you're like, you're focusing, you're watching, but you're not actively doing something, is a lot of time to think and like explore things in your own mind, especially like with like my TikTok brain, like, you know, like all like my age range, you know, I think it's a really important thing to be able to just like sit there and think. And so that's one like kind of detail that I don't think really people talk about enough, but that's allowed me to, I feel like, because I also write music and stuff, and it's always, you think that it's going to be like the day that you have the most time that I could like get a lot of writing done or play the most or whatever, but it's always like after a 10-hour shift or whatever, and I was just kind of like thinking of things a little bit and making little notes, and then when I come home, it's like I can think. For some reason, it just allows me to think more.
Rad.
So that's an interesting one. And then just what everybody else says, which is just, everyone else says it because it's so true, is just helping people is just, it's just unbelievable.
Rad.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for that. That first point is so interesting because, as you said, TikTok brain.
Yeah.
Like, we're all there. Like, I don't care what age group you're in. We're all on social media.
Yeah.
Maybe not everybody, but too many of us are. And that scrolling brain is really unhealthy, right? And there's all the science behind it. Like, and we don't allow ourselves to get bored anymore because and boredom is where the creative mind takes place and blah, 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 blah. So, you know, it's interesting. I always say in here, like, when do I ever get 90 minutes just to talk, just to focus? It never happens anymore. And it's really magic. And I find that really an interesting takeaway from your experience. It's great for me because my ADH brain is always going, and then add in the TikTok influence and blah. But this is a big part of why this is such a passion project for me, is because I get a chance to do this. Like, when do I ever get 90 minutes to talk to one person and really dig? It's really beautiful and fortunate. But it's such a really interesting way to, like, side benefit that I wouldn't have thought of it in those terms, but it really makes sense. Like, when you're go, you don't get the opportunity to really kind of get that focus and get that creativity. That's so interesting.
Yeah, for sure. There's like, I remember I'd work, like one of my summers, I think it was my second summer, I would work every Friday. I'd work this spot called Shell Beach, which is like nothing goes on. It's at Three Arch Bay. And it's like, there's the two towers at Three Arch, and it's like a lot's going on. It's great. And then there's this other one. It's just this like beautiful little offset beach. And you're basically just staring at like paradise. And it's like, it's really trippy. And you kind of just sit there and like stare at just this, like, I can't describe how beautiful it is. It's right where the arches are in Three Arch Bay. And it's this little like just crystal clear water. And something that I feel like it's just super healthy for your brain. It's like how people that live in coastal areas, you were saying earlier, like 50 is 70 in Chicago, like 50 years old, you know? Yep. And people who are around that just staring at the ocean, it's like, there's something magical or something powerful about it.
Yeah, it's like nature bathing or whatever you want to call it. Like there's real, I mean, we're, for those of us that spend a lot of time in the ocean or on the ocean or at the beach, like there's no question the value of it, right? Yeah. And the more time you're immersed in it, we know that there's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
And you're getting that as a lifeguard, especially if you're in a stressful position, it's very different. Yeah. But if you're in that real, like, I don't know, beautiful, calm, safe kind of environment, you're always watching the water and stuff does happen, but it's got to be pretty rad.
Yeah. And that's just one tower. That's just one day a week that I would be at that spot. But most of the time, you know, it's a lot more busy. But that one would be like, it's kind of like getting into a long flight where you're like, oh God, I gotta like think right now for a long time, or if you're not, because I can't like watch movies like that long. So it's kind of like that, but then you also end up like a couple hours in, you kind of reach a flow state and you start thinking about things.
Got it. But I would imagine, like using that example where Shell Beach is generally pretty calm.
Yeah.
But you're always on.
Yeah, there's stuff that happens.
Yeah, stuff happens no matter what.
And you're right next to Three Arch, so you still come and support them. Like the North Tower at Three Arch is like a little more populated usually, and so if like something happens, you're always like on the radio and stuff, and something happens, you take over their tower. So it's not completely like dead, but for the most part, it's like it's one of the calmest towers there is.
Well, and I think that's part of some of the misinformation or the misunderstanding of lifeguarding and why it's maybe not treated the same way as a lot of other first responders like police and fire, because they see you sitting on a tower,
so they're like,
looking at this beautiful area, but you're always on, and shit goes sideways really fast in your line of work, right?
Yeah.
Really fast.
Yeah.
Add a little swell, add a little weather.
Oh yeah.
You know,
you're sprinting. Yeah.
Nonstop.
Yeah.
Huge kudos to you and all the lifeguards for what you guys do. Now, I would imagine, or maybe it's more of a question, when you're spending all that time in the tower, whether you're at a super busy area, whether you're in that flow state, whether it's super chill or whatever, you get a lot of time to think, or things come and go, whether it's music or whatever else. But I'm kind of leading you down the path of the Kraken.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this platform. You're a 19-year-old kid, so you started this when you were 18 when you started this. Talk about, before we get into what it does, talk about the creative process, or where this concept came from to go out and develop an AI platform to better support first responders.
Yeah. So definitely I think it's like that time in the tower is always, it just gets you thinking. And I didn't come up with this while lifeguarding, but it just kind of sets the tone for that. And I've not been a part of like missing swimmer scenarios as much as my supervisors, where they're getting on the dive gear or whatever. But I've been on, calls like that where people come up to the tower and it's I haven't seen my brother in 10 minutes and the swell's gnarly or whatever. And you gotta, you make the call and get out there. And so it's definitely, in my mind a little bit, but where this started was at the end, right after I graduated. So this past June, I went just on a surf trip to Costa Rica, and I was there alone. I did some other traveling before that, and I was there alone, and my dad he was in between jobs. So he was able to come down. I was like, oh my God, come down for a week, whatever. So that was sweet. And we were there, and we just kind of were thinking, and he's a tech guy more, and I know tech too. And he's an entrepreneur and all that stuff. And we were kind of just had a lot of time to just think. All I was really doing is just surfing and thinking. It's like the best.
That's a good program.
That's the best. And
with your dad,
with my dad, like, come on, we're cruising around in a Land Cruiser, like, oh my God. And we were talking about all this stuff, and then I was kind of thinking about different applications for like a software that I could develop and kind of my skill level. And I was like, it just kind of clicked. I was like, is there something that, and I was just literally just thinking about it for Laguna. I was like, I wasn't thinking about like a business. I was more just like, they would think this is so cool if I did this. Like, I was more just like, I was like, it was like, they would be proud. It was like, this would just be so cool. And what it is essentially is an AI detection platform that can identify anything you want. But at the start, it was just for lifeguarding. So at the start, it was drowning victims. So a detection for a drowning victim, or rip currents, sea life, and then the main one is missing persons. So putting in a description for a person and being able to find them, because that's the biggest call you could possibly get, is when someone goes missing in the water. And so I was like, and I was planning on doing some other like traveling and stuff. That was my plan. And I was like, I need to go home now.
You got so fired up.
Yeah, I was like, I need to get home. So I like only spent like a total of a week there, or maybe even less, and then just went home immediately and started hacking away.
Rad. Okay, so before we get into that, so let's, as a lifeguard in Laguna, where you were thinking about this platform for how cool it would be and how beneficial it would be for those gnarly circumstances, if it existed now, what would it change for or not? I know that it does, but let's say last year, before you created it, what were you trying to solve? When you have this creative, like, what were you trying to solve? You're like, I want to build this. Okay,
yeah. So the main thing is we have drones in, like, most lifeguard departments have a drone or two, but in Laguna, I've seen it where, and the drone operators, where they're flying the drone over, and there's one issue with that, and that there's a tiny screen on it, and usually you're on the beach or you're trying to get shade or whatever, and they're looking above, and the dive team they're like, they got the jet ski going and the boat, and the dive team, they're like doing these patterns, and they got mics inside. It's a super lockdown. And then you have like the tower guards on the beach, and you have the units, the trucks on the beach as well, looking out. And then you have the drone side, and the drone side's good. It's advanced for right now, but the problem is that they can't see at headquarters what's going on. So if you have a call at like Treasure Island or whatever, missing person, headquarters, the chief doesn't know exactly what's going on. So it's an increased awareness. It's an increase, like, everyone's on the same page for dispatching, and you can see. So that was the main problem I want to solve, is just live streaming. Just live streaming back to the headquarters is one huge thing already. And then the next thing is having AI watching over is just another set of eyes. It's just like having another lifeguard. It's literally just like having another person, but it's always watching, and it will detect if it sees what you're looking for.
Got it. So in that example, is it taking the video coming from the drone and it's applying an AI filter on it to go find whatever you need?
Exactly.
So it still requires the drone to go up.
Yep.
So you're saying that the one weakness is, not weakness, I mean, everything else, as you said, is locked down.
Yeah.
Like the underwater team or the dive team, the guards, everything. But this is, the opportunity is to provide more clarity from above.
Yeah, from above.
And use technology to really look for it, because the human eye, for all these reasons, doesn't see it as well.
Exactly. Yeah, this will detect, and it'll detect with it all works in probabilities. So it will even show you too, like, 50% probability that this is your match, or 75%, or whatever like that. So you could kind of scale it that way too. So it's just a more intelligent approach to search and rescue. That's it.
Rad.
Yeah.
So hypothetically, in that example, you could put up a drone, and the AI immediately starts assessing it.
Yeah.
So the intent would be not only to find, it should find and find much more quickly. And that's speed.
Lower response time. Yeah, huge. And the way they like to do it, we run like training operations and stuff that I see, is they like to run it through the iPad, and when they spin up the drone, they just say I have a little text box in there, and you literally just say in there, I'm looking for a Caucasian 56-year-old male last seen on the beach with blue shorts or whatever. And if the drone, if in that camera feed, if it spots that, it will send an alert to whatever you want. It could send an alert to, for Laguna, they have it send an alert back to their headquarters, and then also back to the iPad in the unit.
Wow. Yeah. Just sitting here, I'm going through going, okay, I can see how all of this can be like continually added to.
Yeah.
We'll get there in a second. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop on Kraken.
Yeah.
I got to get that A right. Yeah. KrakenX, or just
KrakenX, yeah.
Okay. First, the logo. Tell us about the logo.
Bang. So the Kraken, as we know, the mythical beast. And then, drone. It's just an octopus with the little drone things, but I think it's pretty badass.
It's super cool. I really like
the glasses.
That. Yeah, super cool. Yeah. Rad. Okay, but the Wayback Machine a little bit. I love the story about your dad just came down. He's between jobs, came down. You guys get to go surf. We talked earlier. There's a good chance I know your dad. We're about the same age. Yeah. Other side of the bay. He's been forever. You live like 100 yards from here, like right stinking here. So let's talk a bit about the family. did you grow up like surfing with dad? Was that part of the routine?
No, honestly, no. Surfing has been it's been a process for me.
Oh.
It's
because you said you were a grappler.
Right? Yeah, I did wrestling. Like all this stuff, like all this water stuff is always like it's not like a supernatural thing for me. It's always been like I'm gonna get good at this. Like I got to do this. So he played volleyball and that was his thing, like beach wise. But no, I didn't surf. Didn't grow up surfing with him. Always went to the beach and stuff, but never really did that. I was on the boog when I was younger, and then I just a few years ago I was like I need to start surfing, and now I can surf. Now it's all good to go. But it took a while to like get. I am not a natural surfer or swimmer. Like my first now again I get better, and I'm good on rescues. For some reason, I just like swimming in a straight line is just impossible for me. But, like head down, like actual swimming, I'm totally good if it's like in the ocean, like big waves, like whatever, I'm great there. Head up swimming and on rescues and stuff. But man, like my first tryout, I made it like by literally like 20 seconds and was throwing up on the beach. And like, yeah, swimming and surfing, like that's not
doesn't come natural.
Thing. No.
So interesting.
But it makes me like love it more though, because it has this added element to it.
Well, and you've paddled the channel a couple times at 16 and 17. Like,
yeah, paddling came a little bit. Paddling was good because that's just like, that's more, I feel like a little bit more straightforward, like physical. Paddling came a little easier, but
got it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Rad. Okay. So, and the other part about your dad is you had mentioned you guys were both into tech and you guys were talking about it. So let's go back into the platform and the development. So you come back from your surf trip with this idea.
Yeah.
Take it from there.
Okay. Yeah. So from there, I had known a little bit, but throughout this process, I've learned like so much, but I knew a little bit kind of like in theory, but I never built anything my own. And so the first step I was just like, okay, how do I do this? And my first step, my dad was like, you need to get on your AWS stuff, which is Amazon Web Services, because that's kind of where all AI is built right now. And so I spent the first like month or two just learning, just like watching YouTube videos, ChatGPT, and doing the Skill Builders course. And so I got my certification, my AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. And after that, I felt like I had enough skills to like get it going. And right now there's a thing called vibe coding where it's you're using AI to code, so you don't have to write a line of code. I didn't write a line of code for this entire thing, and I literally don't do any of that. And so, so literally it's kind of like, it was a slow process at first, but once you get cooking, and it was just basically banging away on my keyboard at just using all these different AI tools. Like there's like Klein and AWS CLI. It's just this boring tech stuff, but just going on there and then testing it and making a lot of mistakes. And then anytime I get stuck, it's nice. I have an AI architect down the hall from me, my dad, so he could come in and help me if I have any questions or whatever. And he'll always be like, oh God, what'd you do? Like, oh God, this is terrible.
But that is his skill. Like he is an AI architect.
Yeah, that's his thing. He's an AI architect.
Got it. It's good to have one down the hall.
Yeah, that's nice for sure. Anytime I have a question, whatever, or if I'm like, don't know it's mostly about just making it as cheap as possible, because compute can get unbelievably expensive very quickly. And if you're trying to start this as a business, it's not what you want. So a big part of it would just be I would build something and it would work fine, and then he'd come in and he'd be like, Joe, like this is gonna cost you like $500 every time you try to detect something. And then we kind of work through that. It's just little stuff like that, but mostly it's just right now, like with this AI like surge, you don't need to be.
You had a concept, and then you went and learned how to do it, but you're not saying you're a master programmer.
Yeah, exactly. It's just anyone could, like, it's more about like grit and stuff now. It's not about like, oh, you have like this computer science degree and whatever. You kind of just figure it out. There's so many tools right now, and I'm not saying it's like super easy. It just takes a lot of patience and time and effort, but it's not this like genius thing.
Interesting.
People think of it as like, because it makes sense that it would be, but it's really not. It's just patience
and figuring out how to use all the tools that are available.
Yeah, and there are a lot of tools now.
But it sounds like you did the footwork, and it sounds like Dad didn't go like, "Oh, I'm gonna help you do it." Like he's there to help, but he's like, you're on your own, brother.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Go figure it out.
Yeah, well, he's got a job. He's busy. He works 12-hour days. Like he's not gonna be yeah.
No, but I mean, my point is like this is your baby. Like you've figured out how, and you had a vision, and then you went and figured out how to make this vision become reality, and you've now done that.
Yeah.
Tell me, we had talked offline earlier, and you had told me a bit about AI and how some of your friends are looking at it, and how other friends are looking at it.
Yeah. So my age category, and this is totally rightful. I think the dangers of AI and the skepticism and stuff. I'm totally for that. I think that it could end up being terrible in a lot of ways. I think all this stuff about being able to create video and just out of nowhere is terrible. I think AI music is terrible, and our AI lizard overlords are going to kill us. I believe in quite a bit of that stuff. But it also doesn't mean that I'm just gonna fold over and just
curl up in a ball
and be sad that it's gonna take my jobs in the future, because as much as there is fear and all that stuff, there's also opportunity, and it's like might as well just take advantage. And right now it's actually going at such a rate where just the access to these tools is going crazy, where my first 3 months of building the product was completely useless. I found out because they came out with Claude came out with this new thing that could just do everything I had done up to that point for you. So it was like I wasted 3 months, but I also learned during that and figured some stuff out. So it wasn't completely wasted, but all this stuff goes so fast, and there's access to all these tools where it's it would actually amaze, because my dad's been coding or whatever, and since he started off just in the 80s, 90s, whatever. So he'll see something. He's like, you did this in 6 hours? He's like, are you kidding me right now? Stuff that would cost a team that he would work on, $800,000 and 2 months now is just me who kind of just started and just in my room, and it costs, $20.
Jeez.
So it's
really
mostly that stuff. It's mostly just patience and grit and taking advantage of what's here right now. Yeah.
I mean, I heard something. I mean, I think everybody, I've got kids your age, we're all talking about it. What's it mean? And I think everybody's using AI, not everybody, but to totally different levels. I'm getting on there and doing chat GPT and, blah, blah, blah. And then you're building a platform, and then there's the whole other side of the world that it's fueling growth and business.
Yeah.
But I think there's something to what you said, which is you can either be scared of it or you can engage it and pursue it and leverage it. Yeah. And that's what I think the companies are having the most success. I mean, there's so much unknown about where it's going to go.
Yeah.
But I think your platform is a perfect example. You had a vision to go do good, and you're going to use this tool to go make it happen to save lives.
For sure.
Right?
No, literally. I mean, I tell some people my age, they're like, oh, what have you been up to, whatever. And I say, now I'm starting to say software instead of AI, just because I don't want to deal with, people conflate AI. They think like what I'm doing is so different. It shouldn't be the same word, but people what I'm doing is so different from all this evil stuff that people are scared of. It's literally just detecting for people that are in need, that are in trouble. And it's something that could have been done, obviously a lot harder with a whole team and millions of dollars 10 years ago. It's not this new thing that people are terrified of. So now I just kind of say software. But when I'd say AI to certain people my age, they're like, oh boy, I'm against AI. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I am too. I know what you're talking about, but this is totally not that. Yeah.
Got it. Interesting. So when people ask you what you're doing, do you have an elevator speech? You said there's AI versus software, but if somebody goes, oh, what's that logo on your shirt? What are you doing? What do you say?
I do say AI for that. Because it's it depends on who I'm talking to. Uh-huh. If it's most people, I'll say AI. And if it's people who work in tech, for sure I say AI, and I just kind of immediately get into the nitty gritty of it. If it's someone that's maybe like your type of person, I'll still say AI, because it doesn't have that negative connotation. And then with people my age, I say it's a software company.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And what about KrakenX.ai? If somebody goes, oh, different, instead of AI versus software, but what's it do?
Oh,
do you have an elevator speech, or is there a tagline for what you do or what it does?
Yeah, I mean, AI powered solutions is the blanket tagline, because so at this point, this is kind of a good segue for the next thing. Yeah. So at the start, what I built it for was only lifeguarding, and it was literally like tailored to Laguna. I was like, I'm just gonna make this the most baller like Laguna product ever. And then after a little time and trying to figure that out, I was trying to build my own models, and that costs a lot of money, and it's a whole thing. And then I figured out another solution that allowed me to hook up to a larger frontier model and just build the architecture around that. To now I get a text for literally anything. So now it's yes, lifeguarding, and yes, fire and search and rescue and whatever. But now it's whatever anybody wants to detect for, this will detect and alert now, because it's hooked up to an AI model that has context and is very powerful. And so if you have I'm exploring other verticals right now, and I have a couple of clients in a beta program with auto dealerships. So they're looking for things like people waiting in the service bay or in the service drive, or spills and leaks, or customer satisfaction and different data collection like that. And I have another beta program with a fast food chain, and we're testing for things like keeping on their operation schedules for food prep, and also detect for break-ins, security. Like now it is endless. It's like it's opening up a ton. Yeah.
So let's press pause on that one.
Yeah.
We'll get back. We'll call that like 2.0.
Yeah.
Because you're in beta on that, but you're already actively involved. You mentioned Laguna, right? And you kind of built it for it. Talk about, well, maybe this. You had said you really were like wanted to make a baller thing for Laguna, and you thought it'd be so cool if you built it for them. Mm-hmm. You build it for Laguna initially, and then what happens there? Who do you pitch? How do you go? Hey, chief, like what do you do?
Well, okay, Laguna, like everyone's so cool, and I keep just like glazing Laguna.
We love Laguna. It's all good.
It's like they're friends and stuff, and even though they've been doing it for 30 years longer than me or whatever, they're still like a friend. And I just I emailed, who did I either emailed the chief first or lieutenant first, not sure how that got started, but just casual, just, hey, like I've done this. I want to see if you guys are interested and hear you guys' feedback on what you want to see with this and whatever. And I pitched it, and they were like, holy shit. They were like, whoa. They're like, you just did this last summer? And I was like, yeah, no, it's cool, whatever. And they're like, no, this is great. And, they were super stoked because they used this other company for live streaming that was the same price, but it was a little more expensive, and it was less reliable, whatever. I'm not going to name the company name, but they immediately just switched to mine and immediately began testing, and they've been huge because I offered them a slight discount because they're the reason I'm doing all of this, and then also so they could test the product. So we would go in every week. So all of the testing for this product it's all government standard. I would go in with one of the two lieutenants, and we were three lieutenants, and I would go in with them, whoever was in, and we'd test it, and we do operations, we do missing people, we do vessel in distress, we do anything like that. And through all of that testing, we did like 2-3 months of straight testing with them, where we would test with them, and then I basically just open it up and say, like, what do you like about it? What do you not like about it? And they would be like, hey, if we could get it to where we could get the drone a little farther, like we have to be a little close. We don't want to be up in people's personal business, and I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Because if you're scanning the beach, you don't want the drone to be visible or whatever. So, okay, I'll work on that. And I go back the next week, and they'd be like, all right, this is great. What else? Let's think. Can you put a little text box here? And I was like, yeah, I could do that. And then so they kind of helped me build the product too into like a full platform.
Rad. Yeah. And have they been? Is it still in beta or is it in use?
They're fully in use. Yeah.
And so when is it being used only when a call comes in and the drone goes up? Is that what happens? Or
they seem to be doing it like that. And it's off season right now. They signed on in December. And right now it's off season, so I don't know exactly like what operations they've been doing it on, and but it's mostly like training right now, and in the summer is when it really.
So this summer is gonna be a big deal for you to
this summer's gonna be huge, yeah. No, it's.
So are you gonna be working in the tower, or are you gonna be working in cool. HQ on this?
I'm gonna be doing 2 days a week in the towers, and then The rest of my time is going to be spent, because I can still totally work in the towers, and it's good for me. It's always like it's just, instead of having like a weekend, it's like it's thinking time. So I'm going to be doing like 2 days a week in the tower, and then on the rest of the days, I'll be doing things with building this and helping
just focus on the
and,
platform.
Yeah,
got it. Wow, that's got to be super exciting.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this.
They're all fired up on it.
They're super fired up. It's like, yeah, they're super fired up.
And I think I can see where, if it's reliant on having drones in the air, when you start talking about car dealerships and stuff where there's cameras all the time, then you apply it 24/7, it's working, right?
Yeah. Cameras is cameras is going to be the next like big vertical for me too, because not as many people have drones, but everyone has cameras.
Yeah. So what's next with regard to the lifeguard side of it? You're building the other platforms, and sounds like you're pitching it in beta, but like, where do you hope it goes with the lifeguard world?
Yeah, I'm looking. So we had a drone training event. It's this annual one, and it's San Clemente and Seal Beach and Newport and Laguna and Seal or Huntington. All those departments came down and checked it out. And I don't know if they wanted me to talk about which ones are.
But you're working with some of them.
Yeah, working with some of them, and doing demos and building that up. So my goal for this is, it's so cheap. It's $99 per month per device. So you have a drone, it's $99 per month, and it live streams back to wherever you want. You could have it live streamed at 50 places. It could be on every device, whatever. So it's $99 for live streaming everywhere and AI detections at all times that it is flying. So the goal is every beach up and down California. And then I also am talking to down in Hawaii, and talking to some people there for expanding it there. But yeah, right now Laguna is the only one that's in like a full operational capacity. But the goal is everyone. Like, I want the whole coast to be on it, because it's just so powerful and it's so much cheaper than all these other, like, there's a company that is around here, and it's so expensive. It's unbelievable. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars for literally the same product. And the reason mine is so cheap is because
your dad told you.
Yeah, because my dad told me. It is just me. It's like, I don't have like this whole. I have 2 unpaid interns that are my friends that go do AI at UCSD, and they, I'm not enslaving them. They want to be doing it because they want it to be on their resume that they worked at an AI startup. And so it's literally just me and them, and that's it. So it costs literally nothing to run it, and also it's all cloud based. So you could have a $300 DJI drone and use this. Everyone else, it's a $20,000, like huge drone with AI on board, a little onboard computer. But mine just streams straight from the drone to the cloud, my cloud. So it's way cheaper. So that's the goal.
I mean, I'm just sitting here as a total layman, but thinking about all the endless applications that could work for any number of. I mean, everything. It's
such a crazy time right now with AI. It's like, oh my God, like, wait, this could go to this and that. It's crazy. Yeah.
And when you met with, you said at that drone training session, you met with all the other agencies. How does that feel as a 18-year-old kid at the time, pitching all the lifeguards? Here you are, a 3-year guard, and you're like pitching all these. Like, how did that go over?
It was just so cool as everyone was down. We did it in Laguna, and everyone was in their training room, and it was just cool to like have that room. And these are all people who a couple of years ago, or a couple of months ago, they're so like higher up than me and superior to me, and then they're listening to my product. It's so cool.
Is there any imposter syndrome in there? You're like, how did I end up?
I know. What am I doing here? Yeah, no, it's funny when I'm like,
so rad.
I have like my friends that are also in the towers and stuff, and I'll just like name drop like other like people. I was like, I was in headquarters and blah blah blah, like talking about this, and it's just kind of funny.
That's rad though.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that a good idea, especially when it's in place to help others, it really opens some doors.
Yeah.
So you've been getting good feedback. There's interest in it. You've got some that's established, some that's in beta.
Yeah.
What's it going to take to get it into, let's say, the whole coast, or more and more lifeguard agencies up and down the coast? Is it going to be based on Laguna's experience this summer, and then leveraging that, or?
That's going to be a big part of it. I think what I'm doing of just hammering away and just like right now my literal strategy is just, it's just kind of like what I do for everything. And it's just head down. Like I'm just emailing people like, hey, like, you know, you want this? And then I can come over and demo for them and just work my way up and things like this, just, you know, talking about it in front of people who, you know, want to hear about this kind of thing and talking, you know, I haven't talked to them about it yet, but I want to see if I can talk at Project Wipeout. I love that. And just,
I know some people.
I know you do. Yeah.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah, that's right. Good stuff. Yeah, just stuff like this. It's just like talking to the right people. I mean, it's so new. I just finished up testing with Laguna. It's all squared away. So now is the time to expand. Like Laguna loves it now and everything. And it's tailored to lifeguards specifically because it was me and then it was the 3 lieutenants. Like it was just everything, every little detail was, you know, helped by them because they would like, one of them recently, they were doing a live streaming thing and they're like, Joe, you know, it'd be cool is if you could have like a little tag that goes up at the bottom of when you open up the full live stream that says the alert right there. And I was like, and so we don't have to click out and go on it. So it's easier to watch. And I was like, okay, cool. And I just programmed that in and that's that. And, yeah, so now it's about just getting all
scaling
up
it.
The coast. Yeah,
and if you got phone calls tomorrow from 5 more agencies, are you capable to?
Yeah,
you're ready to go.
Ready to roll. It's nothing. It's all cloud based. Like I don't need. It's not like I need to build these drones like everybody else when they do their AI and then they do their hardware in the same platform. I don't do that. I literally just someone calls me in a bar. I'm like, okay, what kind of drone do you have? They're like, oh, I have a DJI, blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll be down there later. I type in a number. In there, it's a little, you click 3 dots and you type in where it says RTMP and you type in a number and that number immediately links up to what I have in their own separate account in their console. That's the only setup that's required. Wow. Literally just pop over and it takes 5 minutes. I put in the RTMP address is what it's called and it streams back to my cloud and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's it.
It's, you know, I mean, I think back to like, Microsoft with Bill Gates was built in his garage and Woodman built GoPro, started in his garage. And like, this is, you know, it sounds like what you're saying to people might go, oh, it sounds crazy. But the reality is this is where most tech has started, right?
Yeah, because it's like those are all like during those little booms, you know, and this is one of them. This is another boom. There's like the .com, you know, and this is just that next one. And there's people out there. I mean, there's like so many people. The one, this is just like, you know, nerd drone stuff, but Neuros Tech is just this, that's what the U.S. Army's now, like, it's like, you know, gonna be huge. It's the U.S. Army's putting like trillions of dollars, 18-year-old kids, like just, they're just making it in their garage. Like all this AI stuff, there's more, and what also kind of got me like thinking about it more was too, my dad would go to these conventions and he'd be like, Joe, I was just sitting there at a table with, there was a 21-year-old, a 19-year-old, and another 19-year-old. And they were all like one of them is like already a billionaire. He has like blah, 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 whatever. And at this AWS convention, it's just, and then other two have these, you know, multi-million-dollar companies. And it's just, it's all built just in their garages.
Well, you were talking about one of our mutual friends that lives down on the water.
Yeah.
And who's his next door neighbor?
Palmer Luckey.
That built Oculus and sold it for, I mean.
Totally.
And now he's building everything for the military.
Yeah, Anduril. Yeah.
So this is the path.
Yeah.
And even if this, regardless of where this goes, that skill set that you've built or trained yourself on and this experience of being an entrepreneur, you're 19 and you were 18, you built it, you learned how to do it, you built it, you're pitching government agencies and getting great response and they're helping you develop to make it better and better. Like from a skill set perspective, like your resume is good, like hallelujah, brother. Like, whatever you want to do with it, it's really exciting. But to take that on, like I just love and it's interesting, you go back to, you're like, I wasn't really ever like a water guy, didn't really love surf, but I got fired up to learn how to do it and get into it. It's kind of what you did here.
Yeah, that's kind of my style.
I like that. That's a hell of a style.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah.
Okay, so after you get all the agencies up and down the coast on your platform, what next? You talked about some of the other beta. Let's go into where you see this thing or you'd like to see this thing go.
Yeah, well, so if that happens, like I'm a happy camper. Like that's an ultimate outcome. Having all of these departments, and also it's just so cool working with other departments too. Like getting to talk to It's cool. I like seeing all the different like versions of my kind of mentors at other departments. Like I'm talking to the guys at Huntington or whatever. I'm like, oh, you're that guy. Like that's just cool. So that's going to be cool. Just talking to everybody and getting all that. So that's going to be, it's just fun to do that.
Have they been, like when you get to these other departments, so first, how do you get in? Like, do you have easy access to these guys? Do you say, I'm working with Laguna, or how does it work that you get that introduction or you get in the door?
Yeah, so there's definitely a little bit of because I lifeguard, like that's a huge part of it, because they would always want to, it's like, yeah, of course you can come talk to me. Like there's like a community.
You found that
there.
community thing.
That's huge. Yeah.
Camaraderie.
So it's not too difficult there. There's some departments that are the problem that I'm seeing, and it will not be a problem soon enough because it's just everything's moving in that direction. But the departments that have hesitancies are just departments that haven't used drones really enough. They're just like they're kind of like, yeah, this is so cool. We need to first train our operators. We need to get them licensed and stuff like that. So that's what takes time. So that's the main challenge with them is just if there's a department that hasn't used drones operationally before. There's some departments that have no drones. There's some that have used them in operations, and there's some that have used them for social media, and just some things like that, but haven't used them operationally. So that's just the main hurdle is if they're just not in the drone world at all. But other than that, it's a pretty easy in the door because I lifeguard. So
interesting on that front, like for those agencies that aren't already using that tech.
Yeah.
Can you be like a thought leader or a provider of the whole thing where you go,
100%.
Not only do we have the platform, the AI platform to solve it, but I can give you the whole, here's the roadmap to turning on a full drone program with the tech.
I could definitely give them the roadmap. The one thing I can't do is get them licensed. I'm not a licensed instructor, so I can't. I was thinking about like going down that path and being like, I'm just gonna be a full like unit that could just
start to finish.
Yeah, start to finish, but that's not worth the time to be a full drone instructor for me. So I could do everything from. I also just know like what drones are best. So a lot of them have questions, whatever. I know I could tell them.
Maybe you got to get one of your friends to become a drone instructor, and then you guys can provide a full service.
Well, I've been trying to convince that friend of ours down at the Bay. I've been trying to convince his son to build drones because he's got it all and he's got access to all this stuff at University of Utah. And I'm like, dude, build some drones. Like, build me some drones, and then we'll just sell it all together. But that's later down the line.
Got it.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But.
So you've been getting that camaraderie, your community, like I'm a lifeguard, I've got this platform. They're like, hey, come on, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure having Laguna on board is
That's huge.
Yeah, they're like, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you're getting in there, you're pitching these guys, and you can kind of see how they're similar to the guys that you've kind of looked up to. What's their first reaction when you take them through the demo?
It's always just how easy it is. It's just that's the biggest thing. It's just they're like, so I have a little account that I use for my like testing. So it's just an account that it's just I plug it in. So it's not their specific account, but I hook it up and I show it to them, and they're like, wait, that's our drone right there, and it's detecting right now. You didn't open it up and do some dissecting and whatever. It's like, oh, that's already happening. That's it. And it's just the ease of that. That's the main thing. It doesn't take this whole, because also with working with governments and stuff is like always going to be just all of this stuff to get through and whatever. And I've already done that with Laguna. I've already done all this testing with them, and I've done all the work to get a government contract, get your first government contract. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of testing. Because it needs to be locked down. You can't take any risks with a government contract. So after that, now it's just so easy.
The second contract's pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
It's the first one that changes everything.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, because I didn't get the clarity on it. What's maybe the difference in time, or in like, take us through what it would be like if there's a drone up and there's a call comes in, the difference between without Kraken AI and with it. Like what happens differently? What might the outcome change as a result of that?
Yeah. It's just whether you see them or not on the drone. Like there could be times where you're looking, again, imagine the water when you're looking over it, when there's so many people in the water, and you're looking for, it could also look for like if there's a shadow that you might not see, it could detect for that too. I have built into there where it's, because a lot of people, they go under, and especially like when you're over the water, when you're looking at the water from the beach, it looks all like kind of blue and gray, and you can't really see. When you're over it, it's usually kind of greener and it's clear. So but when you're looking down on your screen on the beach and the sun's in your eyes and you're trying to, look at it, it's just the difference between seeing them or not, because it's either your eye and only your eye and looking at the screen, or it's your eye plus everyone in headquarters. If you're looking for it, there's TVs. I think I've only been in the headquarters in Laguna, but hopefully everybody else has these. It's just TVs in the training room down below, and they're everywhere. So you could have these on these TVs, and you could have the chief, who's usually, a little bit not in the know. You have the chief looking at it and saying, wait, what's that? And you could have everyone in headquarters in a well-lit room plus the AI looking. So it goes from one person on a tiny screen to the AI, the one person looking at the screen, and then everyone in headquarters.
And I'm guessing the AI aspect is worth, 100 pairs of eyes.
Yeah.
Because it's looking through everything and it's scanning faster than we can and finding stuff where human eye may or may not.
Yeah.
Glare. There's so many factors that go into
and it's rapid. Oh, and then the other thing too is when it spots it, it takes a photo and it pops up on the alert. It pops up a photo of where it is on the map and GPS coordinates, so you can dispatch exactly where. It's pretty gnarly. So so when it sees that person, it does a zoomed in photo, and then photo on the map, GPS coordinates, time it was taken, the drone it was taken with, and then you could dispatch from there.
Wow. Well, I mean, my head goes right to my friends in Hawaii because, in Laguna, how many towers do you know in Laguna?
I don't know. I did know. I can't.
No, it's okay. But I just think, because I always say, like in Newport, on Kauai, there's 12 towers on the whole island.
What?
12.
Wow.
We probably 2 miles from here, there's probably 12 towers within a quarter mile.
Yeah.
Half mile.
Yeah.
12? Okay, maybe even a mile. There's the whole island of Kauai. So they rely on personal watercraft, the lifeguard, and drones and everything else. And so if you're covering a vast area.
You gotta get this in there. Yeah.
Right? It seems like, okay, I got friends there, so we'll be getting it over to them. Because I think of what just my experiences there, like there's not lifeguards on many, many, many of those beaches, and there's nooks and crannies everywhere. And that's why. So what was interesting when I was researching this, I think of some of the people I've spoken with and like the evolution of lifeguarding. As you said earlier, like Laguna and all these agencies, they've got it locked down. Mm-hmm. They've got the training and the individuals and the units and the towers and the processes, and all that is dialed.
Yeah.
But in Hawaii, there isn't, as I was just mentioning, there's not coverage on a lot of beaches. So so the Rescue Tube Foundation, and I had their CEO, with Branch, they put up rescue tubes for the public to use all over. So if there's an emergency, you're not going in you're going in with a tube.
Yeah.
And it's saved lots and lots of lives and made hundreds of rescues throughout the islands. And then you think of, I had Kalani Vieira in here and also John Hoover from BRAG. So that's the Kauai chief and BRAG master instructor. And they talk about how they leverage not just training, but they leverage personal watercrafts for all the rescue work. And so you go from, beach, the way historically it was beach, then you add on these other bolt-ons, and now you've got AI.
Yeah.
Like it just seems like an evolutionary benefit that helps all the other bases of lifeguarding.
Yeah, just having AI in the program. That's it. Yeah.
Rad. Dude, so cool. I mean, like I said, I love having young guns that are doing rad things in here because it's just so inspirational that you had this vision for a missing link opportunity.
Yeah.
And then you went and figured out how to do it, how to implement it, and did it in such a way that you've got a government contract.
Yeah.
And then this can save. I mean, it'll be really cool in 5 years to get back with you and go, okay, what kind of numbers? What's happened as a result of this? Like,
it's gonna be cool.
How many rescues? How many? Whatever it may be. Super rad, dude. Congrats.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the summer look like for you with regard to the lifeguard? I mean, are you going hard right now trying to get more agencies on board before summer comes?
Yeah, right now, before summer, I think because it's they're not gonna. It's gonna be tough to. So everyone's so busy in the summer.
Yep.
So right after the summer, I think is gonna be that next kind of surge. But during the summer is gonna be collecting that data with Laguna. That's gonna be huge. Yeah. And for me, it's also just I don't know. I think it's gonna be a really fun summer for me because I'm gonna be working in the towers and then doing that, and then I'm also right now I'm trying to simultaneously. While I have Laguna proving it, I'm doing that beta program testing with the auto dealerships and the fast food place because just to prove that it has more verticals, and then hopefully in the summer I'm attacking those at the same time as collecting the data from Laguna, and then right after summer,
Boom.
Yeah.
Off and running. How did you get Entree into the dealership and the fast food?
I've tried to talk to just a bunch of different people and just kind of see like who wants what, and some people everyone has their reasonings and money, whatever, and those are just two that ended up loving it and just saw the power in it, and they wanted to get on. So it's a lot more. I didn't just attack just them. I've emailed and called like a million people, and some of them I'm working on. There's just so many legs to this.
I know a guy that has a whole bunch of hardware stores that has cameras that doesn't have AI built into it. So we have to go in and try to find, hey, this thing happened. Let's go dig around. All right.
Yeah.
There might be another test, another retail test for you. For real. Great. I'm not kidding. Because we talk about that all the time. And there's a lot of different platforms out there. Yours sounds pretty
locked down.
Pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
Where else? I mean, is this an unlimited reachable market? Like, can you go anywhere you want with this? You
Literally,
think?
yeah. It's unbelievable. Like right now, again, just got done doing all the testing with Laguna, and it's operational, and I'm pitching, and it's just me right now. But the product itself can literally, it's like I can't even.
You can plug it into anything.
Yeah, I talk to anyone. I love talking to people who do different things, and you talk to someone who is in the world of just literally whatever in the retail world, and there's just all kinds of applications. It's unbelievable reachable market. Yeah.
What would you hope 5 years from now looks like? I know, or even a year. Yeah. I mean, I hear it like there's a lot could happen. Yeah. Right.
I hope the main thing is I want to lock down lifeguarding, and then also search and rescue and fire. I think that's a huge one too. Is like forest fires and stuff, because detecting smoke in a forest is huge. And this can detect anything visual, and also audio. It can intake audio. It can intake any piece of data and evaluate it and send an alert. So my goal is that, because that's what I set out to do, and I've accomplished it on a smaller level so far with Laguna. And my goal is to just fully advance search and rescue and fire and lifeguarding. So that's one major goal, and then ultimately, like on a businessy level, just build up the company as much as possible and make it my career.
Have you always thought of yourself as an entrepreneur? Did you ever think of yourself as an entrepreneur, or is this like just something that came out of this thought that you had?
This one, of all the things that I don't think of myself as, and then I'm like, okay, I need to do this. This one makes sense for me. I've always thought of myself as like I could get a lot done with just myself. I don't need to be, I enjoy, like, I lifeguard, and that's a job where you're being told what to do and stuff, and I love that. But I can handle, like, I could do things on my own, and I've always liked that idea. So I've definitely thought of that. And then also my dad, just in recent years, he's not, but that's just because his company was bought. But he was always an entrepreneur growing up, when I was growing up. So yeah, I've always kind of thought of that.
Got it. Well, AI is obviously, as we talked about, like the tagline, the phrase of the decade, and there's a lot of fear and concern and opportunity and everything tied in. There's a lot of money in that space.
Yeah.
Does that benefit you? Is that a risk to you? Like, how do you see the speed at which this market is growing? Do you see it as nothing but opportunity for you? Do you see, I don't know, who would be coming in and trying to taking your tech? Like,
yeah, I think, I don't know if anyone could do it cheaper than me. I don't see it, like, I'm pretty confident in that. I don't think, and it also gets cheaper for me every day. Compute gets cheaper there right now, and yes, I know it's bad. They're building all these data centers, and there's totally concerns with that, but it also makes compute way cheaper. And so every day it becomes cheaper for me to operate this system. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, if it costs like $50 an instance, like 1 week, the next week it costs 20, the next week it costs 10. It's like, so I only see it as a benefit, especially because it's just me. Like, it's just me. For now. Yeah. But like, I'm so cheap, and I don't think that, and it's only getting cheaper for me. And I'm not really worried about, these bigger companies swooping in, because these bigger companies, quite frankly, are slower, and they're doing things the old way, and they're not as efficient. They have to pay all these people, and so I'm not really worried.
So your differentiators are super dialed in tech for the need, and speed to market, speed to edit, and then your cost base is low.
Yeah.
So it's high tech, low cost.
Exactly.
And a very engaged operator.
Yeah.
Those are some big differentiators, right? To your point, like
yeah.
if you call one of these mega companies, they're going to come in and they want you to do all the bolt-ons and all this, and it takes a long time. You're like, we're already up and running.
Yeah, I type in your RTMP, that's it.
And you're rolling.
That's it. And save cameras too. Type in, if your camera streams, I'm hooking up to it, and that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Super exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's all like, it's also, I've had it reviewed by an AWS architect. Like it's all as locked down as can be, and then it's just me.
And if somebody wants to, do you have demos up online? If somebody wants to go see how this works, or how does that work?
Yeah, I have on my Instagram. I have some videos.
What is your Instagram?
It's KrakenX.ai. Yeah, give it a follow. And then I have my website as well, www.KrakenX.ai. And yeah, I have a couple instructional videos on my Instagram, and I'm going to put out very soon in this next week, I'm going to put out a full sizzle reel that encapsulates kind of everything, that encapsulates its capabilities in a more broad way than just lifeguarding. I have one video right now that kind of just walks through like a quick like demo of what it looks like to do a missing person operation. And then I have one for city code violations and like potholes and power lines and stuff like that. So those are my two I have up right now, but I'm going to put out one this next week that it's like a full broad sizzle reel.
That starts to show all the capacity, all the things that you guys could do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just because walk me back, you just said like the city code violations, like what?
Yeah.
So
that's another thing.
Like what? But give an example of what that can do.
Yeah. So right now, this is already being done, but not as good. Where people are flying, like there's power line companies, and then also like cities. They fly drones along power lines to see for exposed wires or like anything that's not in line, and you could go over too and look for potholes, and you could go over and look for anything. And the biggest thing is it's an insurance policy, because the liability of having an exposed wire and catching a house on fire, and like LA or whatever, that's how allegedly or whatever
right.
all that started. So but yeah, so city code is another huge one, and working with city governments is another thing where you have to go through a lot of testing, but it proves your product to be super worthwhile. And yeah, I think my favorite ones are the potholes and the power lines, because that's just it's just such a wide area, and the liability of that's huge. But there's everything. It's flooding. It's there's so much,
endless anything.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
And you can easily, if somebody called you up, go, hey, I want to apply this to blah blah blah.
Yeah, the process for that is I have an account for that person, and in that account, they have access to this. In that account, and under the administration part, there's a box, and in that box, you type in what you want to see, and that's what it detects for.
So you could you can put in anything, the loose wires or anything you want, and it's going to go identify.
And there's ways to do it. Like I recommend a client to run it by me to see what their prompt is, because there's ways to prompt AI to make it the most effective. And
almost like keyword or
keyword. Yeah, exactly. There's all this like prompting stuff where you give it its role. So basically in that little thing you have, I want to look for this, I want to look for that, I want to look for whatever. And if you see this at this probability, and you just go through exactly what you want to see, and it's individual to that client, and that's that.
Wow, amazing. Yeah. Just a random question. If there's such in tech, once you develop something really good, they often get opportunities to be acquired, right? Yeah. Oculus, we mentioned, Palmer Luckey, and the multi-billion-dollar deal he did when he was, I don't know, 21 or 20 or whatever. There's lots of that, right? Mm-hmm. You're talking about these other guys. Like you develop something that really works, that's very usable, and it's worth a lot to a lot of people. What's the phone call? Who would it be? Like if someone called you and said, hey, we're interested in you, or the tech, or a client that goes, hey, I see what you're doing, I'd love to use, like, is there any company, like any of those like magic wand people out there?
I could definitely see a few people wanting to acquire me. There's a couple angles to it. There's like, if certain drone companies that are in the area, if they want to acquire like later down the line, and it's the right number, and it's mostly like also just my operating costs are so cheap, and it's I could definitely see it being a valuable product if I have these clients. And then another thing is if these companies are seeing that they want to be doing what I'm doing, and I'm taking their clients, and definitely. So I can see security companies being interested in acquiring, and drone companies, and those are the biggest ones for me. I could see like a big like Securitas or like whatever. I could see just this really efficient little platform, and they're like, wait, I could just have all of this for blank money. Then I could definitely see that.
Got it. That'd be incredible.
That'd be great.
But between now and then, you want to be in every lifeguard service.
Every lifeguard service, every fire department, every search and rescue, ski patrol. I'm going up to Mammoth tomorrow, and gonna talk their ear off.
Well, that's a very timely one with all the avalanche stuff going on up in the Sierras and here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Endless.
Yeah.
And pretty fun as like an outdoor water guy.
Totally.
To be able to go pitch this to. Like super, like, oh, I'm gonna go up to Mammoth and do it. Like, how cool is that?
Oh, I know. Yeah,
that's got to be really fun.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, it's like little business trip, and I'm going up and surfing in Santa Cruz and talking to their department. Like, awesome. Okay.
Dude. Well, let's go back to what I said at the beginning. You're freshly 19, and at your age, I don't think I could have made a sandwich. And here you are. You've built an AI platform. You're pitching municipal, groups.
Yeah.
And the world is your oyster, man. That is really, really cool. All right, 5 years, I want to come back. We're going to sit here and you're going to tell me how it's gone.
That's going to be great.
I can't wait to hear truly how summer goes in Laguna and the real benefits that they find and the use cases and how it's applied and the outcomes of those and I know you can't too, because A, it will be making a difference, and B, it gives you a platform.
Yeah,
but
totally.
Like I said, if there's a way to help lifeguards, fire, police make a difference and be more efficient and safer and make a difference to the public, hallelujah. So, dude, I'm so proud of you. This is so rad.
Thank you. Yeah, this is great.
Are you gonna do the bend again?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the bend again. This summer I took it off, and I was like, I missed like the first qualifier, and I already kind of bothered Spencer about it. He probably doesn't even remember, but I remember because I missed one of the qualifiers the previous year, and I was like, oh shoot, and there was like a deadline, so I texted him and I was like, can I do like another one? And he was like, yeah, sure, just record it. And that night I went with my friend, and we did 15 miles, but around Lido. So we just circled Lido. Yeah, we just did like laps around Lido at like midnight, like from like midnight to whatever.
How fun was that?
It was super fun. It was cool. It was like we just got like snacks and stuff, and we just like hauled ass around, like, because you could cook.
I thought you were going to tell me that you used your tech to measure and find you and watch you do the whole thing and then sent that over.
I could do that.
That'd be a pretty cool
problem. Yeah. No, that's another fun way to like show clients is just put in another little prompt. I was talking to this guy, and he always has this thing where he wants to see if the pickleball court's open. So I'm spinning up I'm saying, check if the occupancy of the pickleball court, and then it goes and sends him an alert with that. It's just kind of fun. It's like
you can truly program it to
it just shows that it's like whatever you want to see. Like,
dude,
that's it.
Pretty impressive, dude. Joe Nance, you're the man. Keep it up. This is really cool.
So much.
Super proud of you, buddy.
Great.
This is rad.
Thank you.
KrakenX.ai. Oh, KrakenX.ai.
KrakenX.
I just ruined the end. All right. That was it.
Right. Thank you.
Dude, that was really cool.